What's going on, guys? It's your boy Panda here, and welcome back to the channel. And we have a official Ubisoft update regarding Xdefiant, directly from that of Mark Rubin, that was released today. And I want to go over everything for you guys, just so we can talk about everything that's going on. If you guys have been enjoying the content recently, make sure to subscribe. I upload almost every single day except for weekends, unless we have new news and stuff. And once Xdefiant and Modern Warfare 3 officially release, we'll have more content from there. So I'm not going to read everything out of this. I'll put a link to the article down below, but it's a long article, and the first thing they detailed is going over the idea of what the submission process is, because there have been so many questions regarding the submission process, where the game was, this, that, and the other. So basically they talk about how there is first-party testing, which is that of Sony, Xbox, etc., like the major platforms that the game will be on, and they have to go through and do their environmental test, which basically mean that the systems that they're played on have to do all this testing to make sure that there's no critical bugs between the system and the game. It doesn't mean the game itself has some bugs that need to be fixed. They explain that that is done on internal QA/compliance teams that do testing for that. So issues in the game, maybe that might be like a gun is doing too much damage, a map might have an exploit, this, that, and the other is done on the internal side, and it doesn't really delay the process. But that of the system testing from first parties is what can delay the process overall. So there's a spot, too, at the end of that article that is very important. I'll put that on screen for you now. After we get a pass from all first parties, we are then ready to ship and need probably 1 to 2 weeks before launch, depending on the date of the pass. If we don't pass, then we need to spend a month fixing these issues that came up from the submission and repeat the above process. So that right there is like the key thing in my mind. The fact that we have had all these delays means that there must have been something in the process that came up that was not ready on one of these systems. A lot of people pointing fingers towards Sony, that there was an issue between Xdefiant and possibly the PS5 or internal software, just something like that. That is where we're at, the main thing. So we further the details later in the article of, it says, so where are we in this? And they talk about everything that's gone on leading up to a potential release. So this is like the biggest part of the article to me, the key part right here. At the end of July, we started this process, and we got our first results back by mid-August, which was not a pass. We realized then that we had more work related to compliance than we had anticipated. If it had passed, then we would have been able to ship at the end of August, but it didn't, and so we have spent the last 3 to 4 weeks fixing those issues and getting ready to do another submission. So then we get to a key point in this article that says, we are currently in the CM prep part of the process and will hope to be submitting the first parties in less than 2 weeks. If that passes cleanly, then we could be looking at a mid to end of September release. This, however, is a likely scenario where we get a conditional pass, meaning we have to do day 1 patch with some final fixes to ensure compliance. If we do need to do a day 1 patch, then that pushes our dates out to early to mid-October. The article does also further go on to explain just why they haven't had a firm release date, everything that they might be going through and what could happen, and they were explaining that they want this to be the community-driven game. They wanted to talk about how map voting is now in the game, and an S&D style mode will be coming later, and that's just examples of development-based requests that the players wanted. So they kind of made this transparent and open community-driven game, basically, and that's really nice to see. It does suck that we're kind of in that kind of wiggle room period right now of when the game potentially could release, but that brings me to the second part of this video, which is what we've talked about way before, and now we're getting exact words from Ubisoft talking about how we might have a early October to mid-October release, and we've talked about this many times here on the channel. Is that a smart thing for them to do? So as we know, Call of Duty has their major beta coming up for Modern Warfare 3 on October 6th, and then they have an open weekend the next weekend, then another weekend the next weekend, and so on and so forth. So there's a majority of the days from between like the 6th and the 17th or 19th of October that are all taken up by Modern Warfare 3's beta, which highly anticipated. A lot of people are like, oh, Call of Duty's dead, whatever. It's Call of Duty. They pull in names. They're going back to grassroots stuff, and I believe a lot of that has to do with the fact that Xdefiant pushed them that way. We're getting returning Modern Warfare 2 maps. We're getting map voting. We're getting a lot of features that people wanted back inside of Call of Duty that were originally taken out by Infinity Ward's during Modern Warfare 2, which still puzzles me to this day, but that is for another video. So here's a few potential issues they run into based off their time frame they're looking for. So mid to end of September would be like, I'd assume the 15th to the 30th or whatever the end of the month is for September. And then early to mid-October would be the beginning of October till probably like the 18th, which that October one is frightening because you have the Modern Warfare 3 beta, and yeah, the first weekend is just PlayStation exclusive, but the hype around Modern Warfare 3 will be growing, and a lot of people will be turning away from most likely Xdefiant at that time. And if you look at it, you have the beta for this Modern Warfare 3 game in October, and then you have its release literally right after in November. So if you release in the early October, you're going to have to fight the beta. If you release in mid-October, you're going to have a good period of time where you're able to play the game, but then you have Modern Warfare 3 at the beginning of November, which a lot of people are extremely excited for, which I feel like would just fight each other on, would that be the first season for Xdefiant? And would the first season of Xdefiant launch at the same time as Modern Warfare 3, which would just be a bloodbath between the two games? It's an interesting spot to be in, and personally, I think their best bet would be if they can get that as early as possible September release. I think the first week of October is dangerous, and I think the end of October is dangerous. So you either have the beginning of, or the middle of October, or the middle of September, realistically. And anything past that is going to be an uphill battle for Xdefiant. I do appreciate all the transparency between Xdefiant's devs and the community. It's really great to see. We were radio silent for a while, and I knew that there was a lot going on behind closed doors, but there's nice to see that there's progress being made and being explained of what's going on, and I hope that more comes from that, and I hope that we get this game at some point. A lot of us have been asking, should they just delay it until there's like a lull in Call of Duty? Because as much as people say COD isn't as important or it's not as big as it used to be, Call of Duty is a household name, and I know I speak for a lot of people when I say this, that it's a game that's going to draw the attention of everyone again. Now, a lot of people might be stepping away from Call of Duty. I myself am not. I'm going back, playing it with my friends, doing like I do. This is a COD-driven channel. But I'm excited for Xdefiant because I believe they can coexist in this universe if they do it right. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, let me know, how did your predictions go for the opening weekend of the NFL? If you guys don't know, I'm a big Browns fan, so it was a great weekend for me against the Bungles. But I love you guys to death. I appreciate all the love and support recently on the channel. I just wanted to let you guys know that if you guys could go over to gfuel.com, you can use code PANDA, PANDUH, to save up to 30% off your next G Fuel order. There are some amazing collabs and sales coming out soon, so I want you guys to take advantage of that. If you guys have never had G Fuel before, I encourage Hype Sauce, Bahama Mama, Fruit Punch, Hibiscus Tea right now has been like my favorite drink, as well as the Strawberry Leche, which is the Dragon Ball Z collab, which is Kamehameha, I think it is. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan, but one of their best flavors they've ever made. But like I said, you guys can use code PANDA, PANDUH, at checkout. There'll be a link down in the description. I'll take you directly there. It supports me, and you guys get clean, good energy, zero sugar, no crash, get you through your days. I drink it every day when it comes to editing, making videos, going to the gym, all sorts of stuff like that. So I love you guys to death. Appreciate all the love and support recently. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on those post notification bells so you guys never miss an upload. I will see you guys in the next one. Deuces, boys.